And welcome to the castle, everybody. This is Nightsaber Z42, and well, it's the new year, and we all know what kind of a year we had in 2020. So, something that I've always wanted to do, I've actually always wanted to do reviews, and I actually did some reviews a long time ago on this channel, and they were indie game reviews. And I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different because I've been doing a lot of tabletop role playing stuff. So, kind of wanted to start reviewing at least one book, thing, something a month. I might do more if time permits, but I'm going to start this month off with a little bit of an old school classic. Not really, it's 5th edition. We're doing the Dungeon Master's Guide, but we're not doing the book. Instead, I'm actually going to be doing the Roll20 version of the Dungeon Master's Guide, which actually came out in December, I think, either November or December. And I've actually had my eye on it because ever since I got into Roll20, I've actually always wondered why there was really no Dungeon Master's Guide. I mean, it kind of seems like a gimme, right? I mean, they have the player's guide, they have the monster manual, so why not the Dungeon Master's Guide? Well, we're going to take a look at it today in terms of Roll20 and how, whether or not it's worth it, whether it's worth it for the price tag, and what you can really do with it. So let's take a look, shall we? So here is the Dungeon Master's Guide store page, and it comes with 3 different pieces of material. The first thing is basically the Dungeon Master's Guide itself in terms of the compendium. So what this means is I can go to the Roll20 web compendium, or I can go into the game itself that I'm playing and look up anything in the compendium. And if it's in the Dungeon Master's Guide, it will show up. It comes with a map pack, and it also comes with an art and token pack. So let us take a look. I'm actually going to go ahead. Let's see. So we have the add-on pack. We have the token pack. So here is the compendium for the Dungeon Master's Guide. Now, this is exactly pretty much everything that is in the book itself. And I'm actually going to pick one of these chapters. Let's do Creating a Multiverse, and I'll kind of show you. So it does contain all of the artwork that you would see in the book itself. And then it has a little blurb, and it basically separates it into different pages, or not categories, but headings is how I would classify it. So if I go to the next page, I get information on the planes, and all of this material, word for word, is how it is in the Dungeon Master's Guide. There you go. You can see another picture from the DMG right there, as well as all the quotes as they are listed in the actual DMG. So, that's all fine and good. If you don't have the actual DMG book, or if you don't have the DMG in D&D Beyond, then this would definitely be something that you could just go ahead, purchase, and read through. My only complaint with this is there's something inherently different about holding a book. So here's what I mean. So let me get my DMG book, which I just tossed all the way back there. So I got my DMG, right? And when I look through it, I'm not just getting blurbs and blurbs of text. I'm actually getting everything that surrounds it. I'm getting the formatting. I'm getting the layout. I get a whole page of something like this amazing picture, and then I get to the actual blurb on the other side. So let me go ahead and I'll kind of show you what I mean in terms of what we just looked at in Planar Travel. So this is chapter 2. Creating a multiverse. It's what I just showed you guys. So on one side, we've got the full page artwork, which is gorgeous, by the way. And then on the other side is where it starts with its text. Okay. And it's not just text and text and text. You can see that there's also a little table right here, something that's drawing your eye towards it. So when you actually read it, your eye isn't just being drawn to reading it column by column. Your eye can scan through and it'll see this red box and it says inventing your own planes. And then if you wish to pursue it, you can just go ahead and continue reading that little blurb. Whereas in this page right here, we had a full horizontal page of that picture. And then we also have the table on this side. We'll get to tables here in just a minute. If you're into layout design, then maybe the DMG as an actual, web page would not be good for you. I mean, you could just read your book if you have it. But it also does have things that will actually draw your attention. Oh my gosh, I just clicked on something and of course it just had to go ahead and make my life a little bit harder. There we go. So hopefully these links will actually take you to somewhere pertinent. It looks like not, because I don't know how Portals really deals with Acquisitions Incorporated, but I digress. Let us move on. So let me go and launch this game. It's the DMG review. I will actually show you what you can find in the compendium and all of that. So first off, let's take a look at the tokens. So your tokens are going to be in the art library under Marketplace Purchases underneath the Dungeon Master's Guide token pack. And you can see here we've got some dwarves. First off, I'm just going to kind of briefly go through. Then we have our elves. We do have some handout pictures. So like the gnomes have 3 handouts before they get to the actual token. So it's kind of weird that the elves and the dwarves don't get one. But then again, they're basically working with the artwork from the DMGs. So we have halfling handout before we get to a token. Human handouts, human tokens, a lot of human tokens. Of course, humans being the prevalent race. And a Kenku handout and a Kenku token. And there you go. They're not set up to any type of NPC or anything like that. So, I mean, the token itself is going to be blank, as you would expect. The tokens themselves, let's talk about these. So these are all stripped from the DMG, the artwork is. The artwork itself is not made for tokens. So the tokens are take it or leave it. So like this one right here. Oh my gosh. Like, really? The lady is practically dying and there's a token for it. Like, if you've actually seen that picture in the DMG, chick is dying. She's got a wound down below. I don't think that really fits well into a token. But you have something like this, which actually absolutely can be used as a token. So, really, it's like, okay, well, I guess it's going to become some sort of a generic character. I wouldn't use this for any important NPCs or even players. I would just use this for maybe like a different monster, like maybe a boss level elf or something that I want the players to look into a little bit closely. So the handouts, though, those are fine. They're used to, give to your players. So like if you have somebody that actually looks like this, or you can turn that into an NPC, just create a handout for that and plug it in and then show your players. That is fine. And it's really things like this that can be a good token. With the face going forward, there's not a whole lot of action drawn around the actual head or anything like that. So there you go. That is the token pack that you get with the DMG. So let's go over to the map pack. Now, in order to get the map pack, you actually have to plug it into as an add-on. And there are, let's see, quick math, 11 different, no, 12 different maps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I can do math today. So there's 12 different maps. And these are all spread out through the DMG. So let's take a look at them. So we have ourselves a sample map, number 1, which is just a ruin type that kind of goes underground that's kind of split off. And my gosh, this thing takes forever to load. Like, seriously. Let's go all the way out. There we go. Now we can see it. And that is fine in of itself. Let's see. Is it already gridded? It is. Sweet. That's what I like to see. So just a generic kind of a crumbling ruins or underground passage. Got another map. Looks more like a tavern type map. Number 3 is another underground map. It looks a little bit dark, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it is in the DMG as well. And I like how they have a little bit more of an accent, like it's actually a map as opposed to just being on squares. And we've got a layout of a mill, an isometric map of a mill, which is pretty cool. You'll have to definitely do a little bit of brain work to fit that in somehow. And then we also have an actual dungeon, complete with secret walls or secret doors and stuff like that, and different traps. So things like this, excuse me, thank you. Oh my gosh, really? Things like this are really, really cool. Just come up with a reason why your players will want to be there and start filling out these different rooms, which there is a table for that in the DMG itself for filling out dungeon rooms or rooms that are just generic. So that is fine. We also have another dungeon type of map, kind of like how it would be if you were just to draw it on an actual vinyl map thingy. I forget what they're called. So not as fancy, but I mean it's what people have been working with for like decades. So you take it at its value. You can still come up with some stuff for this, and that would be totally fine. Let's see. Another underground area. It looks underground. Maybe like a dwarven type area. I don't know. It's got some magic stuff in there. And a treasure hoard, so it looks pretty fun. Some ritual stuff too. So there you go. Ship. Below deck and top deck. I don't know what the terms are. So in case that you're actually doing some naval stuff or traveling around with some pirates, that would be pretty cool. Although there was an actual fantastic art pack, Airships and Galleons, that was free for subscribers on Roll20 that just came out last month? Or is this the current one? I can't remember. Which you can actually go ahead and build your own map, which I might actually review some other time. We've actually got a regional map, so very nice, nondescript, so you can plug in different locations that are very specific to your campaign. That is really cool, especially if you're a beginner, which I'll kind of go into that. Look at this. This is just really cool. And it's also got the it's basically got, its vertical layout as well as the regional view. It's pretty cool. I like that. You've also got you got a walled keep of some sort or a city that actually has walls. And again, just draw some, or rather just type in some sort of features that you want, like something manor, make it all fancy for your players, and make it yours, basically. So that's actually really cool that they have something like this. And then we have the elemental planes. So if you're doing a lot of planar travel stuff, you can definitely get started with this kind of map. So you're going in between the different planes. Although we all know it's just best to kind of create your own, but this would be a good start. So the maps, there's 12 of them. And these are just the sample maps that are in the DMG. The maps, I'm kind of like, they're good for if you're a beginner and you don't have access to a lot of the different maps that you can buy in the marketplace for Roll20, or you just don't want to settle with any of the maps that you can search for in the library. These would be a really good starting point just to kind of, get started, start a collection, and go with it. A map like this might be a little bit too detailed, but this is what is in the book. And I mean, it's ripped straight from the book. You're going to have to do a little bit of work to come up with a feasible way as to why these things are here. So, they're good for beginners, or if you're looking for something, just something to get your players into something, and you can come up with a good way to, have a dragon statue in there. Oh, what is this cauldron with all of the liquid? If you can come up with a way for that, then yeah, that's really good. I tend to like these generic maps a little bit more than the descriptive ones, because I can actually have the freedom to actually say that, okay, well, this room is going to be this, and then I can take free assets and actually plug them in to the map itself. So, oh, you want a goblin who's really tiny? Oh my gosh, that goblin is tiny. Oh, well, that's really, really weird. Never mind. There we go. So that's what I like from this map pack. Okay, so we've gotten to two different things. We got the tokens, the maps. One thing I do want to show you is actually in the journal. So you get a ton of handouts. Thank you for purchasing the Dungeons Masters Guide, Battle Map Scale. Then we get things like the airborne and waterborne vehicles, and there's handouts. So these are statted vehicles for you to use, or rather ships, let's say. And they're fully statted out for you. And it's got the blurb that's in the DMG as well. So you can just drag it and then show to everybody, and now everybody has access to it and they can see what's up. You've also got the items that were in the DMG, such as bombs, firearms, like the antimatter rifle, like, my goodness. You've got magic items. The DMG is most famous for having tables and a crap ton of magic items. So you want your magic armors +1s? Well, there you go. You want your magic armors +2s? You want your very specific demon armor? There it is. So here's my caveat with this. Not everything has a picture, which they're taking it from the DMG, and the DMG does not give a picture for everything. So how am I going to know what armor of vulnerability looks like? Well, guess what? You're the DM. You can make it up. But it is cool that they do have the artwork that's in the DMG with that specific item. So that's a bonus. It's a shame that the DMG didn't have everything, illustrated. But, that would take a whole lot more time. You got weapons, potions, rings, wands, spell scrolls, everything, poisons. If you're into that sort of thing, these are all different handouts. Okay, so like, I could just basically give this to everybody and say, well, here you go. This is what you get. Make that visible to that player. And then there's each equipment. So I would definitely not use this. Although if you wanted to, then you could use these in your own games. I would definitely keep this, like the DMG, separate than your actual game, because then it's not cluttering up your actual journal. And then what I would do is, let's say I need something. Let's say I need like a ring. I could just go to one of my own games and say, okay, I need a braces of archery. And I can just drag it over there, and now it's there for me to use in that game, and then I can show it to my players. But guess what? There's an easier way. That's right. Everything is better when it's easier. So the Compendium is a collection of everything that you have purchased that pertains to whatever system you're using. In this case, it's going to be D&D 5th edition. So let's say I'm going to look up the antimatter rifle because I know that's DMG specific. There it is, the antimatter rifle. Boop, there it is. Much better. And what I can do with this is if I actually have a character, there we go. All I have to do is drag it on over to my character, and oh boy, let's just go ahead and do a generic. I can just go ahead and drag it over, and now that item is going to be in my character sheet. Much easier than just having the handout. So it's nice that they have the handout. It's basically like a book within the app itself that you can use to reference if you need to. I would much rather just search for it in the compendium and use it as is. So anything that's in the compendium, all of these items, anything basically that has a handout here, that's going to be in the compendium. And you can just drag it over within the compendium to whoever's character sheet, and now it's all there. So before the DMG, I believe we didn't have access to all of this, all of these magic items. So you would actually have to go into your character sheet itself, create a new item, and basically give it all of the stats from that item. But now, let's say that I need to give my player a giant slayer. Just go to the compendium, type in giant slayer, and then just drag it into their character sheet, and it's there. Already statted, ready to use. Just click on the item and it'll attack with it and do whatever it is you need to do with it. That is functionality at its finest. But that's just one thing that's really, really useful. So before I said the DMG is probably most famous for magic items and tables. Loads and loads of tables, especially towards the end of the book. Well, there's a macro for all of it. Your random magic item tables, A through I, they're all there. So I can just roll, roll not token, and it's gonna go ahead and show me that. That seems like it didn't quite work out, did it? So there we go. I'm gonna have to actually look into making that work. Oh, it says it right there, spell scroll, potion of climbing, in this horrible font that Roll20 is known for. So then what you do is you actually turn it into a macro. That way you can just roll. Ew, I want to test this one. What does this do? Oh, look at that. They already did it. A macro. Didn't actually know that when I was messing around with this. So that is much better. Put that in the bar. I'm going to use that forever. So there you go. Let's say I need to roll on magic item table B. Just plug it in there and submit. And look, now it actually looks nice. And it goes right to the GM. It would have been really nice to have a link to that, but then again, it's not a handout. So then I would have to go over here and say, bag of holding. And boom, there it is. Can drag that to whoever gets it. Or if you're really smart, you actually have a party handout for loot and stuff and just drag it over there. And there you go. So there's also a madness table if you care for things like that. That was in the DMG. But you have all of the magic item tables. The gem tables, I think, should be in there. Oh, really? They're not in there. That's kind of weird. Random figurine of wondrous power. That's very strange. I would have thought that they would actually have the random item table, a better one. So it looks like they are kind of missing some stuff. I remember there specifically being a random gem table. So if you have like a 50 gold piece gem, you could roll for that, and it'll tell you what the gem specifically is. So these are just magic items. It doesn't actually give you a hoard, which that is actually why you would not have a rollable hoard table from the DMG. It was beyond me. Then again, you could just make it, especially with all of the items that are here. So there is that. So it brings me up to my next point. Is this worth $39.99? If you are a beginner, and take this with a grain of salt. These are my 2 cents. If you are a newcomer, you just got into Roll20, you maybe have the player's handbook and the monster manual, then I would say yes, if you're looking to splurge a little bit. I mean, $40 is a hefty price for what I consider to be only really 1 or 2 things that are useful. So if you're an absolute beginner with $40 to spend, then yeah, I would go ahead and make this purchase. It will become useful to you, and there's a lot of value that you can get from it. If you've been on Roll20 for a while, you've got your collection all set up, maybe not, because what I would consider to be very useful is this right here. And really, I've just discovered that there could be more. So the magic item tables, the rollable tables, that's useful because I have not set that up. But I know that a lot of people who have been on Roll20 have actually already set this up, and they've already set up a rollable random loot generator. So like the horde table that's in just before the magic items in the DMG. That if they had included something like that, then yeah, I would definitely be loving this more than I have any right to. But without that, this is just, okay, some magic items. And really, for me, because I actually have magic item supplements, this isn't all that useful. Because this is just the magic items from the DMG, mind you. But, I digress. I have like hundreds and hundreds of magic items from supplements alone that I actually include in my game. So there you go. I know a lot of old players, not like old in years, but like people who have been around have already created macros for this stuff. So if you've already done that, then I wouldn't really bother with this. Although, to be honest, having the items actually statted and ready to give to players in their character sheets or even as handouts, that's pretty useful. So value for your buck. If you want tokens, more tokens, generic tokens, let's be honest, are not the greatest. If you want 12 maps that you can use, and if you want hundreds of magic items that you can just drop into a person's character sheet and just kind of let them deal with it, then yeah, this would be something that you could pay $40 for. If you already have a ton of tokens or a ton of maps and you don't need more, then the question you really need to ask yourself is, are macros that only deal with items in this guide alone and access to the magic items themselves, is that worth $40? I can't answer for you, but I mean, I'm actually kind of glad I have it, but also for $40, That's up to you to decide. So that will definitely do it for this video. If you guys found this informative, feel free to give this a comment down below. Definitely give it a thumbs up. I am kind of new to this whole reviewing thing, so comments are much appreciated, especially if they are constructive. I definitely am looking forward to doing more review type stuff. So I will see you guys in the next video.